So this is streaming. Let's see. Post live on YouTube. Let's see if this works. So record on to the cloud. And then I'm also going to share my screen. One second. Let's see. The apps. Share screen. High screen. Boom. See if this works again. Share screen. Share. All right. Looks like we're in business. Let me double check on this. This is the first time I'm using YouTube, I mean Zoom, to stream. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We just found this deal on San Antonio. It's 5939 Millbank Drive, San Antonio, Texas, 78238. Purchase price 221,000. Interest rate is 2.5%. Total PITI 1606. Entry fee $25,000. This is a 3-bed, 1.5 bath, 1820 square feet, ARV of $228,000. 15K to this cash to the seller and the agent, and a $10,000 assignment fee. And this is the PITI breakdown. They say apparently it should be roughly around 1730 for rent. So let's take a quick look at this property. All right. So the first thing we want to do is get the county because we want to see whether or not we can rule this out as a deal. And we're gonna get the HUD FMR. Now, looking at the condition of this home, outside looks terrible. This is the laundry room that could use a little bit of love. Inside doesn't look too bad. Can't really tell from the ceiling what's going on, but the floor looks okay. Maybe you want to refinish it. This bathroom, definitely want to replace that toilet. This is a little storage space. Let's see. Yeah, some good general cleanup is going to be needed. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is Google HUD FMR. And why we want to do this is we want to get the fair market rents for this area. And this is in 78238. So it's in Texas. And Bexar 78238, 78238. And you can see that the rent ceiling here is going to be 1670 and 2000 for the rent ceiling. So let's write that down. 1670 and 2000. Okay, now that I get the rent ceiling, I'm gonna go get the market rents. So when you go to affordablehousing.com, go to the owners section and click on the market rent estimator. Now you can, whoops, now we can plug in the address right here. All right, I will plug in the address. Put in a bed count. And you see that the average market rent for 25 units within a 1 mile radius essentially is 1683. 1683. Now, that means I'm probably going to underwrite this deal at roughly around a $1,600 rent. I mean, $1,700 rent, excuse me. And that's because of the rent reasonableness test, right? So whenever you see all these numbers, 1696, you got to take the lower of the two and 1762. And surprisingly, this one's actually pretty close. 1670 is this one and it's 1683. So this is the lower of the two, actually, excuse me. I I don't know why I thought I saw 1770. So I'm gonna use 1670 for rents, assuming that this is the maximum rent because that's equivalent to it. Now, if this includes utilities, you have to go to the county's housing authority, look at their utility allowance schedule, and back out the utility allowances by utility. Meaning, if you don't cover water, you should subtract the water allowance from 1670, right? Unless for some reason that housing authority adjust upwards the amount of rent that they can get per unit per bedroom. Okay. So using this property, I'm gonna underwrite this property as 1670. That's because of my best case scenario, right? And we got to see whether or not it's worth our time and worth the cash flow. Okay. So when you have all these numbers in, let's plug these numbers in. Purchase price is $221,000. Let me kind of put this to the side. I'll put this to the side. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you guys should be able to see most of the screen. 221,000. I'm gonna do my rehab at roughly, I gotta paint the entire place because it looks a little rundown. I got two toilets that I'm gonna replace, 1820 for $3 a square foot. Got $5 for a little bit of landscaping. I got 1,500 bucks for the roof repair. So that makes me feel pretty good about the overall place. I'm gonna have about roughly 10 grand of rehab on this property. Okay. 1670. All right, let's go ahead and plug in our details. So our loan, let's plug this in over here. Loan details, sub to loan details. I didn't get that, but it doesn't matter, right? As long as we have the total monthly payment, that's what's going to matter as well. So let's do 290,000. Doesn't matter. 2.5%, because I'll show you why it doesn't matter. All right, cash to seller, we got $25,000, which includes the $15,000 cash to seller, $10,000 sign fee, 2.5% for closing costs, $10,000 for repair. And we're gonna come over here to this property tax number. And because we have the total PITI of 1606, you're going to come to this line and you're going to do 1606, which is the total PITI that's been disclosed by the wholesaler. You're going to subtract the principal portion of the subject to loan, and you subtract the interest portion of the subject to loan. And that allows you to back into what your total escrow amount is for taxes and insurance, right? You don't have to get all the loan details as long as you know what's been disclosed as the total monthly payment. When you get a total monthly payment, you just reduce it by the existing loan to payment, and then you get the overall number, right? At the end of the day, just remember why we're doing this. We're doing this because we want to determine, one, whether or not this property is worth our time to investigate further, whether or not it's worth our time to send a contractor out there, a realtor out there, handyman out there for photos, etc. Because if it's not worth your time, don't waste talent's time. You don't want to get a busy contractor to go out there and kick the tires around for you to see whether or not it's a deal. You need to be pretty confident, like, hey, if X and X and X happens, then that's a deal. And that's why I'm sending this person out there, right? It makes you look way more competent, makes you look way more prepared for the real estate investing world. Okay. All right. So we add extra $30 for an insurance number, because usually the insurance for Texas and Florida has just been going up and up and up. So I would at least add $30 extra per month, especially if this used to be a primary residence property. Okay. We got 10% for property management, maintenance and CapEx, because something always breaks. We got 10% for property management, and then we got 5% for vacancy, right? And we haven't even looked up the street view. We haven't looked up the crime score for this area. All we need to know now is that, boom, assuming I can get the rent ceiling at 1670 for this property, I'm going to be negative, right? So 3-bedroom, 1670, I'll be negative $383.50. And that's a negative 11.35%. And that's assuming the purchase price is 221,000 with a $10,000 recap. All right. This to me tells me that it's not worth my time to pursue further on this sub-2 deal. Now, 2.5% interest rate, that's a great interest rate. If your exit strategy was not just simply long-term rental using Section 8, then you might want to pursue a more in-depth strategy, which means that you might look at midterm rentals. Check out Tanisha Epps' YouTube channel if you do ever want to look at midterm rentals. She's got great videos on how to do that. But we're staying focused. We only care about Section 8. We only care about long-term rentals, and we want to see whether that's a deal. And for us, this is not a deal, which is why we're moving on from this. Okay. So that's it. That's why we do this. Remember, today, all we're doing is building up a habit of analyzing a deal every single day. We're building up the habit of having no excuses. We're building a habit up of doing something consistently day in and day out, right? Every single day. There's always going to be a reason for you not to do something. I'm here, I'm on vacation, I've been traveling on conference for 2 whole weeks, but we still find a way to go live. Just like today, my one stream was not working, so somehow I found Zoom to be able to stream to YouTube. It doesn't matter what it is, Joe. If you want to do this and you want to stick to it, you will always find a way. If you don't really want to do this and your why isn't strong enough, you will always find a reason not to do something. But all it takes is, even if you don't know what you want to do, all it takes is 18 minutes a day. If you underwrite a deal or spend 18 minutes of your day underwriting deals every single day for 365 days, you're going to be better at analyzing deals than 95% of the country at the minimum, right? If you ever want to buy 100 units, chances are you got to analyze 1,000 units. And sometimes it's scary. We don't know where to start. That's why we do this. All I'm asking you to do is copy my homework, analyze the same deal I just analyzed, rewind a video, and pick one sentence or one part to explain it better than I did, and then put it on your own YouTube channel. Why? Because one, it's going to give yourself the confidence that you know what you're doing. It's going to give yourself the credibility so that when the time comes for you to pull the trigger on a deal, you can ask yourself and tell yourself, hey, you probably know what you're doing because you spent the last 211 days analyzing deals, and they were most of them were not deals. That's why we do this. So do it with me. Just remember, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments. I'm just simply showing you the work that I'm doing every single day, no matter what. This is day 211. You can absolutely do this. And better yet, if you want to copy my homework really fast, you can probably copy 211 days worth of underwriting in a third of that time, right? You just copy 3 videos, put it on your own YouTube, and chances are you will learn something. At the minimum, you will gain credibility, you will gain confidence in yourself, and that's what's going to take, right? Just remember, our goal here is to outlast everybody. Your goal isn't to be the best. Your goal isn't to be rich on day one. Your goal is to outlast everybody. And the way we do that is learning how to avoid burnout. The way we do that is supporting one another in this community. And that's why we do this. So thank you so much for caring about affordable housing. Thank you so much for tuning into the live today. Thank you so much. You guys have an amazing Sunday. I hope you guys spent some quality time with your family and friends today. I'll be back here again tomorrow for day 212. Have a good one.